And we are recording. Let me record here. And we'll start some music here. It's time for Clubhouse Chatter. Here's Norm Ordez.
Hey, welcome to another Tuesday. It's starting to cloud up here in the Eola Hills up here at the Erickson studio. So our first guest today is actually a sponsor of ours, and he's been a sponsor from the get-go since the beginning of the show, but it's his first appearance on the show. I don't know how that has worked out. I know we've talked numerous times about getting you on the show, but from Base by Pros, Building an Athlete's Sports Education, I have Mitch Canham and Brent Lillibridge with us today. Guys, how you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. We just got over into Eastern Washington, and we're meeting with a couple hundred kids and parents today, hopefully to motivate them and inspire them to do big things with their lives.
So, coming up to the studio today, I was thinking about, you guys have been on a lot of bus trips, a lot of hours on bus rides. What kind of traveling music do you guys listen to?
Traveling music? Well, Brent's had a little nicer travel than I've had myself sitting on the minor league bus rides, but typically on the bus rides I get to go to, last year we had a nice 23-hour from Lincoln, Nebraska down to Laredo, Texas, and depends on what part of the bus you're in. If you're maybe in the middle of the bus, you're listening to some Spanish, some salsa music, or maybe if you're up front, you're listening to a little bit of rock and roll, and if you're all the way in the back of the bus, you could be listening to some modern-day hip-hop. So it gets really noisy, just to say the least. But I'll let Brent fill you in on how those nice big league trips are.
All right.
Yeah, Norm, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Brent. How's it going?
Good, yeah. It's mixing up. It's almost the same thing. It's just you got the different whole spots of in the buses where the music's playing, and some guys try to dominate the place by bringing the big boom boxes. They're a little bit nicer now with those Bose little wireless things, but it's really who has the most batteries and willing to blast it the loudest. So it goes from rock to hip hop to, it's always, you got a lot of Latin guys on the team, then they're gonna try their best to overcome it, but it's still they're still in the wrong part of the country, and we still kind of holding power with the music.
So then you get the guys who bring on the guitars. So we'll start with you, Brent. Who out of the players that you have traveled with, who was the best guitar player that you've seen?
Oh man, I remember I got drafted by the Pirates, and then when I got traded to Atlanta Braves. With the Braves, there was a guy named Charlie Morton who actually ended up getting traded to the Pirates.
Yep.
Charlie has a voice of an angel, and he could pick it like nobody else. And so this guy, he's like, I don't like to usually mention or attribute the word sweet to a male, but when it comes to sweetness, his voice and how his demeanor, it's hard because he throws such a nasty curveball. That his demeanor was he was just so fun-loving, but he could play, and a lot of times the bus would be a little quieter, and he'd be playing, singing some songs, and it was a lot more relaxing when we're driving through Mississippi, playing for the Mississippi Braves, and it was a little calmer, and everyone enjoyed it because he was so talented. So that was definitely the guy. And Jake Peavy always could pick. We call him the rock star.
Yeah.
Jake Peavy's a rock star. He knows everybody. He's in rock, and so the best case is when you hang out with Peavy is you'd have at least George Strait or some guys in country or rock that hung out with him in his room, and so you're always on for a good show. That was always a special moment where you're kind of pinching yourself.
Yeah, Peavy's tied in with a couple of buddies of mine, Reckless Kelly, and Mickey and the Motor Cars, of course, Willie and Mickey Braun. And so, how about Mitch? So, who's the best guitar player that he's traveled with?
Best guitar player that I've been around. Aaron Preda would always mess around. He was a goofball though, but. Craig Italiano would pull out some stuff. I mean, we hung around a lot of guys that I guess my group was the guys that like to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
They'd always talk about hunting, but that wasn't something that I could definitely connect with. But I always liked. I hung around every different kind of group. Being a catcher, you kind of got to have that.
Right.
You'll get some pitchers that are, I don't know, the quiet guys, but you got to find a way to connect with them. And some pitchers will like the heavy metal or the country or the hip hop. So sometimes I'd be on the bus, singing some old tunes, and sometimes we'd turn on the beats and I'd start freestyle rapping with them.
Nice. Nice. So let's talk a little bit Bass by Pros. So what is Bass by Pros?
Well, Bass by Pros it has been around since 2012. We started it in hopes that we know professional athletes have a platform that, much like tonight, we have several hundred kids and parents coming out to listen to us speak. And we know that a lot of the kids look up to us, so we want to make sure that professional athletes, are being very positive. They're getting a chance to use their platform to help kids be successful in their lives, whether it's on the field or in the classroom. Both are important to us. So Bass by Pros is a mentor program where when student athletes sign up with us, they have direct connection to talk with professional athletes who act as mentors. Life coaches, Big Brother program, and we want to help them with whatever troubles they're having. Sometimes it's recruiting. Sometimes it's how do I, get a better routine to take care of my arm? How do I go about contacting coaches? How do I, why is community service important? These are all things that we've been through as collegiate athletes, professional athletes, that we can definitely reach out and spread our intellect that we've gained over the years, and hopefully help the kids and the parents to increase the level of sport that they play, and also just better their chances of being successful in life. That's one big thing we do is we talk a lot about creating goals. Mm-hmm. And how do we achieve those goals, and who do we surround ourselves with, and why that plays such a huge role with being successful. So we try to empower our country's youth, our world's youth. We've worked with kids from 6 other countries, so it makes it really exciting. But there's a lot of professional athletes out there that really like to, are not just like, that are passionate about giving the most valuable thing to other people, which is time.
So your website, Bass by Pros, so it's a pretty cool little website, bassbypros.com. You could go on, check it out. It's got a Meet the Pros section, and man, I'm looking at your section, and you've got some big names. You've got, of course, people like Brent Lillibridge, who is, Northwest-wise is a big name.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Hunter, the hitting coach with the Everett Aqua Sox. You got Chris Carter, big first baseman for the Houston Astros, who will be playing tonight. Then you got a bunch of Oregon State guys: Cole Gillespie, Danny Robertson, Darwin Barney. You got one of my favorites of all time, Eric Sogard. Love the way Sogi plays the game. He really gets after it. Jared Lansford, son of Carney Lansford. Another one of my favorite, Joey Wong. And the list goes on and on and on. Another one I want to throw out is Josh Ford, who was with me when I was in Lancaster in 2006. He was the Jethawks catcher, one of the catchers down there, and 40 is awesome as well. So how do you go about recruiting the pros?
Well, it's not that we're necessarily recruiting. There's a couple similarities in all the people you listed off on there, all the people we surround ourselves with. And not only are they all amazing athletes, but every person you listed off is, an even better human being. And spending time with these guys, you tend to hang around like-minded people. If you want to be successful in life, if you want to be kind and giving, you hang around successful and kind and giving people.
Yep.
And, that's why Brent and I have this last year have been working together so closely, is that, Brent takes the same work ethic that they got him to the big leagues, and he does it when he works with kids and when he interacts with people day in and day out. So all these people on that list are not only, amazing athletes, but watch them interact with their families, watch them interact with, other teammates. I mean, they're just outstanding individuals that end up turning, instead of being individuals, they turn into very positive teammates and very positive, parents, fathers, brothers. So it's not like we're necessarily going out. I mean, these are all guys that, yes, we've either played with or been referred to, and we get calls every now and then saying, hey, I got a guy that I think would be great for your guys' program. And, because we interact with student athletes so much and their families, we just want to make sure we surround ourselves with the right kind of people and make sure that they understand, the right ways to go about it. I mean, it's a bit of a service where people depend on us to give them good advice and to help them achieve their goals. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And Brent and I were talking about this today is, getting all the professionals together more often and making sure that we're doing everything right and going above and beyond to help kids.
So you're speaking to a group of kids tonight. So what is the main, is there a main piece of advice that you give them?
Well, each of us, myself, Brent, and George Reyes, is speaking on a different topic. I'm going to start off. I always enjoy sharing my story. And anytime someone comes up and you're trying to, get the audience interested in what's going on, it's always good to share a personal story. And I will be sharing my personal story from my struggles all the way up through success and some of my main beliefs of what it takes to be successful. And then Brent will be sharing a solid piece about setting goals and how to do that. And he's, as we're sitting here reviewing much of our notes to make sure we don't miss anything with these kids, it's important for us to give them, the proper techniques on how to go about those things. Mm-hmm. And George is going to be talking with them. George being from Warden, Washington. If you ever heard of Warden, Washington, it's very surprising. I've lived in Washington my whole life, and I didn't know about it until I met George. But it's a very small little city. If you blink, you'll miss it. But, some amazing athletes has come out of there. His brother actually was in AAA with Memphis this year.
Oh, wow.
And, George is going to be talking about social media and how it can, in many cases, has hurt a lot of people.
Right.
So why we need to be paying attention to what we're posting online. And he's also going to be talking about, how to interview well. I mean, if you're a student athlete going out talking with a college coach, this is an interview. And these are things that are going to apply for kids when they move on, and try to get a job whenever baseball ends or wherever these things apply on and off the field. So, George had a bit of that too. When he's from a small town, he needed to reach out and make sure that when he went on his recruiting trips or when he met coaches that, he knew how to present himself properly to them, because he didn't want to be a liability at a college program. He wants to be a solid asset.
Right. So your career so far. So what was the best piece of advice? So I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Brent. But what was the best piece of advice anybody's ever given you?
Ooh, okay. Maybe Brent will have a better understanding of that. Best piece of advice someone ever gave me. I've been very blessed to have a lot of strong people in my life. Jess Lewis at Oregon State, he taught me how to share my story, and it's very therapeutic, and it helps me overcome a lot of obstacles by opening myself up with people. So I learned a lot about that from him, just kind of being fearless. And my younger brother, as many people as I've met on the baseball field, whether it's George Brett or Greg Maddox, really the biggest advice people have given me were from my younger brother Dustin, who taught me how stand up for what I believe in, and my dad about giving to other people, and my mom about smiling and just loving on people, and my high school coaches, my college coaches, about striving to be the best you can be, and don't don't undercut yourself. If you really want something, how bad are you willing to get it?
Right.
Brent Barnes was my wrestling coach in high school, and once a year he'd have a practice that would go so hard that you, just thinking about it from the beginning, you're like, I can't even make it 25% through this thing. But by the end, you realize a lot about yourself and how hard you can push yourself. So I can't finger down any one specific thing someone told me at the moment, but collectively, God has put a lot of people in my life that have taught me bits and pieces here, and as I'm putting it together, it's given me a lot of strength to become the person I am today and to try to achieve these new goals I have. But I'll see if Brent can give you his big motivational thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I'm thinking about that question, I actually kind of visualize, it reminds me of Ricky Bobby when he based his whole life off of if you're not first, you're last.
Yep.
And like one single piece of advice, when you think about it, like if you're just holding everything on one thing of advice, I feel like it can kind of steer you very specifically in a direction. And I think Mitch is right. That's the right reason why we do what we do. And it's not just me and Mitch reaching out and working with kids. Is we want as many quality men and women to surround these kids, because there is different avenues. There's different personalities and stuff that all kind of come to the same conclusion, but we say it differently. We have the different advice in different moments, and we're all skilled different ways. So, like, it's the same as I think about some of my managers in Major League Baseball. From even Ozzie Guillen speaking some confidence in me, which didn't happen very often. Different points where just the affirmations needed as an athlete or as a kid growing up, the affirmation from my parents, from my brothers, from my wife, just different things like that. Realizing that it does take it takes a village in a way. It definitely does, and we need to make sure that it's not just coming from one source. I talk to parents all the time. I talk to parents all the time that, they say, I've been telling the same stuff, but hearing from you, it's made a difference. And that's the whole point, is you come with a different avenues, all these different avenues with the same kind of sound. It just sounds differently. These kids finally get it, and we'll send as many people, and we'll find the right person to speak the truth in those kids. So that one kid who takes 8 times to hear it finally clicks, and he or she really turns the corner in their life, or they catch a fire and they get the catalyst for their life to go forward. And that's what we're going to do. It's not just going to be the stale me and Mitch or guys that are with us saying the same stuff. It's going to be other guys coming in, and I think you see that with a lot of good coaches. Joe Madden's famous for bringing crazy random people into the clubhouse to just rock the world, to just change it, but also hear all those attributes. I mean, I think so in my life it's been fun to hang out with a lot of cool people, from Snoop Dogg to just different guys that come in the clubhouse, but you start talking to them and you hear those same attributes and you hear those same language in a way, but it's from different aspects. He's talented, and everything touches his goal when it comes to entertainment. And then you have somebody that's just an incredible business mind, and everything they touch, like we say, they poop gold. I mean, they either poop gold, they're printing money in their backyard, they just can make money. But these things, what drive them is the separation, and you try to learn from this piece from everybody, because there really is so many different people and personalities, but we always try to find those key moments. So I don't want to stick to the first or last one-person liner, because that's just not how we can really, become the best version of ourselves.
Very good. We're gonna have to get you. We're gonna have to get you on. Both of you guys I know both of you guys have got great stories, and I know we're pretty much talking base by pros tonight, but we need to get you on another show and just have you, come on and talk about your career. And I know Mitch has got an interesting story, and I know a little bit more about his story than I do yours. But yeah, we'd love to have you come back on. And I know you guys got to get going and got some work to do. But I want Mitch to touch on, you guys got a golf tournament coming up, and let's hear about it.
Yeah, we got a golf tournament coming up, and it's Mitch's little brainchild, little thing, and it's coming up on Monday. We're pretty excited about it, and we'll give you a little details before we take off. Okay,
sounds good.
Yeah, the golf event, what we want to do is we want to bring in all the professional athletes from the Northwest, or at least a good majority of them, and get a chance to raise some funds to help student athletes. Hey, if a kid needs a glove, let's get him a glove. If the kid needs help, going to a clinic. This is something that Brent and I love to do, is put on these clinics or lectures or camps that allow kids and parents to come out without money being an issue. That was something I had a lot of problem with going, we didn't have a lot of money to go to these things. So really, it's, we don't want kids to be pushed away because they don't have funds. And if we can raise enough money, we want to help enough kids, in the Northwest and all over the country, really, to give them the opportunity to not have to worry about those kind of things. If money was ever an issue, I can't do it because of money. We want to be there to help out and say, hey, we're in your corner. Let's figure this thing out. How can we fix this? So we got a lot of college coaches, pros, high school coaches, Little League coaches, and other members in the community getting together, and we're gonna make this thing happen.
Doing great things. I remember a conversation that you and I had a couple of years ago when you were first starting up Base by Pros, and it's really neat to see where you're going with this and see where you are. We are definitely proud that to have you on as a sponsor and to help you guys out. We believe in what you guys are doing, and keep up the good work.
Right, no doubt. Well, I appreciate you having us on here, and we'll get together again soon.
Definitely. Sounds good. Once again, Mitch Canham and Brent Lillibridge up there in Washington, Base by Pros. Guys, enjoy your speech tonight, your talk tonight.
Thank you. We're going to go get prepared right now.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Take care.
So once again, Mitch Canham, Mark's his dad, who's also our sponsor. Mark is probably listening. MDM Designs up there. Mark, how's it going over there in Lebanon? They're doing really good things. So their mission, I want to read their mission statement. So educate athletes about sports and sportsmanship. That's important. That's important not only in sports but in life. Eliminate barriers that prevent young athletes from playing sports. He was talking about, if they need a glove, give them a glove. Teach athletes the value of hard work on and off the playing field. Increase the number of individuals who participate in sports. Provide direction to athletes to get them to the highest level of competition as possible. And build a connection between professional athletes and upcoming athletes. And I want to read a quick quote from Mitch. And it is, my inspiration comes from overcoming many obstacles since I was a child. Life always stacked up against me. From the determination to the encouragement of my family, God, friends, and coaches, I pressed through the barriers trying to slow me down. I always felt a bit behind because of other kids were able to attend camps, private lessons, but that wasn't available to me because of cost. So once again, Mitch Canham doing good things. Check him out, basebypros.com. We're going to add him to our holiday list, our Christmas list of Christmas ideas for the baseball fans. You can go and actually get I believe it's like $50 for a year. You become a member of their website, and you get instruction from the list of pros, and so you could actually send a video to the pros. They'll take a look at it and tell you what you need to work on and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool deal. So once again, Base by Pros, Mitch Canham, building an athlete's sports education. I want to say hello. I want to say I'm wearing the childhood cancer hat once again from Baseballisms, and I want to say hello to a little girl, Elise Ritter, over there in Louisiana. Elise, I went to school with her mother, Chrissy, in Kimberly, Idaho. She is battling this horrible disease, and this is for all the children battling that horrible disease. Elise, keep dancing, keep fighting. We love you. And yeah. Once again, we are sponsored by baseballisms.com. Check them out, baseballisms.com. Baseballdudes.com. To be the best, you must train like the best. Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver, Washington. Base by Pros, building an athlete's sports education. And Mark Canham with MDM Designs. Mark does our shirts. So we've got got an order out for some new Clubhouse Chatter shirts. Hopefully we'll be seeing them soon. Mark, thank you very much. As always, we stream live on yamhilltoday.com. Hey, if you want to sponsor the show, shoot me an email, normbo18@gmail.com. And we're on Twitter, Clubhouse Chatter 1T. We're on Facebook, Clubhouse Chatter with Norm. We're on YouTube, and we're on iTunes. Hey, 5:30, we're going to come back with DJ Dr. Doug Dodds. He is a follower of the show and is DJ for 106.3 KTRY down there in Northern California. So hang on and we'll be back.